I can't believe the turnout today. I'm so thrilled. And I've learned so much today, and I've been working on this with Enid since the 90s. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank Enid. Enid was instrumental in starting the phase 1 with the city of Pasadena, and was able to get contracts with the city, with all the automobile manufacturers. We ended up with charging stations at the end being donated to us because they wanted city of Pasadena to promote and market, and they know that Pasadena is a destination and that everybody looks at us as a leader. And Enid, thank you very much for helping us get there. And I'd like to also add that she was also instrumental in helping the city. She assisted us with writing a $700,000 MTA call for project grant that was awarded for developing our infrastructure and retrofitting. So again, I applaud her because we couldn't have done it without her. Thank you. A little bit of history. The city of Pasadena implemented, okay, now, which button do I push? There we go. Okay, I talked about that. Oh, I skipped the, okay. We implemented our EV infrastructure in the late 1990s through the MSRC program. It developed an EV corridor community program and tested the consumer market and permitting process. This was great because we met with our code enforcement, our fire department, our planning department, and really gave us a good idea of what to expect should this technology come back. We installed 17 charging stations, public and private, public and private parking structures. In some of the private parking structures, we had, not private, the public. In the city of Pasadena has this one area where you can access the parking through a driveway, so we allowed EV charging for free. But what was happening is we had cars coming in from from the airport that were renting RAV4s, and they were leaving them there all day. So we ended up installing parking meters, and that helped take care of the problem. When I say coincides with the EV fever, the city of Pasadena had, I love to say this, we had every EV1 in every color. We had Chryslers, we had Ford trucks, we had the Hyper Minis, we had the Ford Thinks. We actually hid the Ford trucks when they initially came to pick them up, and then we decided we had to give them back. And then we had the Hyper Minis, and we actually had demonstrators out. I don't know if you saw us, we were in the news, but there were several demonstrations at our fleet yards protesting the pickup and when they were trying to crush them. And we tried hiding those too, but the mayor and the city attorney thought that we needed to give them back. That was fun. And at the time, we were recognized by LA as having the second largest infrastructure next to Los Angeles, so we were really proud of that. City officials, when I say city officials supported the marketing, as was said earlier, we should have our city officials ride the vehicles, drive the vehicles, take them to the meetings, market in. Our city manager, our mayor, our commissioners took the vehicles to their meetings and very proudly announced that the city of Pasadena was supporting electric vehicle infrastructure. I'd like to just throw in a little plug. I sit on the PCC Automotive Technology Board. I'm very concerned that I would really like our students to be prepared to work on the vehicles when in our city and be trained. And I'm hoping that everybody who has the opportunity to open an invitation to the faculty and students that are learning this technology be invited to these type of conferences and meetings, because I meet with them maybe once every 6 months, but I think it's important for them to have all the information that's being provided here in this room today. And again, we had public approval. When we're driving around in those cars, we did, as the EPA said earlier, we did have our meter readers also driving around, but those cars are out there all day. So when the cars were sitting, they weren't being used, our meter readers were out there, and you could see those vehicles out there, you know, all day. So it was good marketing. And I mean, when I was driving them, the kids, especially high school kids in groups, they were screaming and yelling and jumping up and down when they first saw, I think it was, well, of course, the GM EV one, because that was the hottest. As I said earlier, Enid helped us with a 700,000 EV grant from the Metro Call for Projects. And we worked with Richard T-Bay and again all these other cities and counties on this $3.2 million grant application. He's amazing. Rick T-Bay, when he called me within hours because I had my old list from the 90s of all the fleet managers that I worked with at that time. Because do you remember when AQMD was going to put not restrictions, but a certain percentage of EVs had to be in place by a certain year. So I don't know how I got involved, but anyway, I was working with all the fleet managers in County of Los Angeles, Orange County, and I still had my list. I was, okay. I was thrilled that I still had the list. So within hours, we shared the numbers and we made calls and were able to put this grant together. It was incredible. But to me, when you have the passion, and I'm so excited, and this is, I think, what other people have to see is the passion that we have for making this happen. And we have the knowledge, and we have the history, and we have the experience, and I think that's what's important. SCA QMD has, with employers with 250 or more employees are regulated to implement employee commute reduction program or an emissions reduction program. Rick Tiba and I and others have been sitting with AQMD at their meetings to make sure that the EVs get credited to cities who are trying to comply. Okay. Metro's congestion management program requires that the cities with developments over 25,000 square feet implement a trip reduction ordinance. A trip reduction ordinance requires all these developments that are bringing in traffic to mitigate it by implementing a trip reduction plan, a TDM plan. Before a developer can acquire a building permit, I have to sign off. And if I don't approve their plan, they can't build. And I'm really unpopular. I'm not popular at all. And as part of that, because I do kind of have this power, I encourage them when they're building their parking structures and their parking lots, even if they're not ready to commit to installing a charger, to at least pull the power. And I've been able to do that, and I'm really thrilled about that. For instance, the Del Mar station, Metro Del Mar station, that was 15 years ago. We had them pull for residential and for car sharing vehicles, station cars. I've been told to stop. Okay, and the city of Pasadena has 45 to 50 regulated developments. And this tool of regulating and requiring these properties to meet compliance is how, kind of arm twisting, but it's in a nice way because you bring all this to their attention. This is how we get our EV letters of support for our grant applications and letters of commitment telling us, yes, we do want, and we will want to receive incentives when they're available. And I think that's it. And thank you all very much. Again, this was wonderful.
I think we saved the best for last. I think when people are really passionate about something, it shows. And I'd like to commend Rick and Judi for their efforts over the years. They've really made a difference. Are there any questions for the panelists? Okay, then thank you very much. Can we have a round of applause for the panelists?
The devoted few. Thank you, everyone. It's been a very, very long day. We appreciate you sitting through. Let's first of all, thank all the panelists and the moderators for all the work they put into this. I would also like to, yes, please. I would like to specifically call out the organizers, Ina Jaffe, Bob Graham, Dipankar Sarkar, Lisa Mirasola, Scott Briasco, Adrien Briones, Michael Swords, Rick Tebay, Sarah Potts from the Clinton Climate Initiative. Let's give them all a round of applause. And if I missed out anybody, that's completely my fault. On behalf of the mayor, all the sponsors, thank you for attending. Many of these presentations will be made available on the web. We've also taped them, and we plan on putting the presentations in video form on the SoCal EV website or on the mayor's website. So if you're interested also in hosting any future workshops around specific issues, we are all ears. We think the more that we hold these, the more we continue to host a regional conversation about EV readiness, the further out ahead we're going to come as a region, the more beneficial it's going to be for the environment and for our public health. Thank you very much.